One of the first theories of mindset was Julian Rotter, a professor of psychology at the University of Connecticut. He had a locus of control theory. I'm not going to spend much time on that because a few years later, another psychologist, Bernard Wiener, developed what he called attribution theory. And any of you, I'm going to describe this in a little more detail, any of you who know Carol Dweck or Martin Seligman, you'll see many roots of their theories. Carol Dweck's growth and fixed mindset, Martin Seligman's learned helplessness and learned optimism reside, I think, in Bernard Wiener's work. When I first read attribution theory, it must have been in the late 1970s and early 80s, I started feeling all of my therapy could actually be guided by attribution theory. I realized I was overly optimistic about that, and I felt classrooms could be set up based on attribution theory. So I'm just want to mention a little, because then when I mention Dweck and Seligman, if you know their work much better, you'll see the roots of that in Bernard Wiener's work. Basically, what attribution theory looked at, and for me it was one of the first powerful mindset theories, is it basically said, when people succeed at something or when they fail at something, regardless of their age, whether they realize it or not, they give themselves reasons for their successes or failures. They attribute different things to their success or failures. That's why it's called attribution theory. Some simple examples. What they found is people who were more confident when they succeeded at something, while they would give other people credit. If it's a kid, they'd give the parent credit. If the adult, they give other people some credit. They basically felt that much of their success was based on their own resources. Again, it wasn't in a narcissistic way, but they basically believed there was something within themselves that helped to contribute to the success. The mindset of people who are not very confident when they succeed at something was very different. And a lot of the research was actually done with children and adults who had struggled with learning. They found that there were a group of people, when they succeeded at something, they felt that much of their success was based on luck, chance, fate. Actually, these were actual things I've heard from people, patients. A kid gets a good grade on a test. Kid says the teacher felt sorry for me. Kid gets a hit in a Little League game, says the pitcher threw the ball soft to me. Now, the problem is, if you attribute your success to things outside your control, you cannot feel as confident in the future. If you think it was lucky that you got a good grade, then think about it this way. Why would you get a good grade the next time? If you think it was great that you scored a basket in basketball, it was just lucky, you're not going to be as confident in the future. For all of us who do therapy, one of the things I started saying, I've got to be more direct in asking questions about what does this person think has contributed to their success. Again, this was before Carol Dweck's work and Seligman's work. So Wiener looked at how we attribute success, to what factors. He also looked at to what we attribute failure or mistakes. What he found is there were a group of people, when they made a mistake, they failed a test, a job project didn't go as well. Although they weren't thrilled by the mistake, they basically felt that mistakes were experiences from which to learn. They did not attribute it to something they could not change. Their whole mindset was, and it's so important in resilience, is what can I learn from this? What he found, there was a group of people, and many of us see kids or adults like this in therapy. The moment they made a mistake, it was like every mistake was like another rock around their neck, which weighed them down more and more and more, and soon they were sinking in quicksand. Think of it this way. If you keep making mistakes and you feel you can't change, you become more and more hopeless, more and more helpless. So one of the things when I was reading Wiener's work is I started to say, how do you prepare someone to make a mistake? How do you change attributions? Now we know a lot more based on some of the theories that were to follow. But I started asking, I thought of it in terms of, looking back in the school, inpatient unit school I ran, How from day one, when a kid comes in, and most of these kids did not have happy school experiences, how can I help them to really not be as concerned about making mistakes and seeing mistakes as experiences from which to learn? So Wiener's work, and I had never thought of it in terms of attributions like that, had a big impact on me, and other theorists were to follow.